Work in progress example. Assuming that the month end there are now part completed bars work in progress, assuming also that stop charging staff for the bars that they had eaten. The data for process 2 was as follows. Opening work in process 235 100% complete ingredients, and labor and overhead 60% complete. Material packaging, and labor overheads also completed 100%. The material and the labor overheads, opening work in process 100 kgs, and material packaging and labor overheads in input 3500 kgs. Transfer to the finished good, closing work in process, material 100%, labor and overheads at 20%, and the both are 500 kgs, and finished good is 3100 kgs. Therefore there is no loss because the input and opening work in process is also 3600 kgs, and the finished good and closing work in process is also 3600 kgs. For the question that include work in process, we need to calculate equivalent units. First, we need to choose the method of valuing work in process. In an exam, use the first in and first out, that's also called FIFO method, if the percentage completion of each element of opening work in process is given. That means if in the exam, if the opening work in process is given in question, then we use FIFO method. Otherwise, we use weightage method. Uh, when we use weightage method, if the value of each element of opening work in process is given, and also noted that the two methods give different two valuations for the closing work in process, because the FIFO method is stands first in and first out. Therefore we evaluate the input is on the base of their percentages which they have. Then in weighted average method, no distinctions is made between units of opening inventory and new units introduced to the process during the counting period. Then how we solve that question? Step 1. We prepare a statement of equivalent units. Note that opening inventory units count as full equivalent units of production when the weighted average cost system is applied. Then how we draw the account of work in process. Then we put opening work in process, their quantity, their material, and the amount as per as the question. Opening work in process 100 kg, and labor overhead also 100 kg. And then started and completed. It means that when they start the input and when they close work in process. Then we in the above question 3100 less upon work in process, and there means 3000 material and 3000 labor overhead. Closing work in process, we calculate 500%, 500 into 100%. In the question, the examiner mentioned that the closing work in process of material is completed as 100%. The percentages are given in the questions, and the labor overhead is 20%. Therefore, we multiply the amount to the percentages which were given in the question. Then we equate the both sides and make the equivalent units. On the other half, this is an weighted average method. But in FIFO method, first in first out method, the opening working process 100 multiplied by 40%. In the question, the 40% is mentioned. Therefore, opening working process material is 0 because the 100% completed, and the labor and overhead left behind is 60% because the total is 100% and we consume 40%. Started and completed 3100 less on work in process. It means the labor overhead in weightage method is 100, then the completed finished good is 3100 less than 100 is equal to 3000. Both material and labor overhead is 3000. Closing work in process. Closing work in process is as mentioned 500 and 100 as weightage every method. Then equivalent units. Then equivalent, when we equate the amount which we mentioned above, then 3500 material and 3140 labor. As we mentioned above that both of these two methods give different valuation. In the example we show that means is the valuation of weightage average method and the first in first out FIFO method is different, because in weightage method in weightage method we calculate the units and the amount on the basis of their weight and make them average. But in FIFO method we use first in and first out method. Then we prepare we prepare the mm, mm, we prepare the statements of cost as equivalent method. On work in process input to 35 material and input is 8404, 526,200, 864, and the total cost per kg is 4.5 rupee, and the cost per kg in FIFO method is 4.375. The valuation is different.